You're listening to the Geekly Chronicles, Series 4, Episode 10.
Thanks for listening back to the Geekly Chronicles.
The show was recorded on the 12th of August, 2016.
This version of the show isn't quite the same as the one that went out live, as we've had to edit out all of the songs.
It's nothing personal. We're just big fans of making sure artists get paid for the great things they create.
If you want to listen back to the show in its full musical glory, head over to our Mixcloud channel, where you'll find every episode of the Geekly Chronicles as it was meant to be heard.
Ooh.
That's mixcloud.com/GKLYCO.
Thanks again for listening. Hello!
Hello.
They said in creepy unison. Hello.
Unplanned. Hi.
Hello.
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 Hi.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Catherine.
Yay! It's my birthday.
And also, in the week that Iran's High Council of Virtual Spaces banned Pokemon Go, citing concerns that it was a bit of a security risk, apparently. I just love the fact that they have a High Council of Virtual Spaces.
That is pretty amazing. Also in the week that high winds boosted renewable energy output to provide Scotland with all of the electricity it needed for a whole day. Which is,
And also in the week where a defendant at Chelmsford Crown Court told Judge Patricia Lynch QC that she was a bit of a and Judge Lynch replied, "You are a bit of a yourself."
But in all of those weeks...
it is the last in the current series of the Geekly Chronicles.
How did we get here?
I
Well,
really...
by doing a series, I'd
Well,
imagine.
thank goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean-
we like to take a break.
we do. Yeah.
But
Can
we've
you believe we've done 10 of these?
Well,
We need
we've
10
done
more of these.
40 of these. Really, this is the end of the fourth series.
Yeah.
Um,
But can you believe we've done 10 of these since we started Series 4?
I
way back
know,
when?
since April, and that's okay. Don't worry though. We will be back towards the end of September, September the 30th, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be away for too long, just a week or 5, and then we'll be back for Series 5. But we still have a great show lined up for you tonight.
We do.
We've got our last Would You Fund It of the series. We've got all the usual kind of banter. Catherine's got a tumble fumble for us.
Indeed, I have.
Looking at you do have
Revealing
one for us, right?
nothing.
Yes.
You have planned this.
Yes, exclusively tumbly
Ooh.
Well.
in its bumbliness.
Only stuff you can find on tumblr.com. We also have a fantastic guest lined up tonight. Rachel Lilly, a Quidditch player, is going to be joining us.
Yeah.
While everyone is off in Rio doing sports that are part of the Olympics, we still have people here playing sports. And Quidditch, not fictional. It's real.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
And also apparently not an Olympic sport, which I think is a travesty.
A shame. Yes.
It's a future Olympic sport.
It better be. I want to see Quidditch become an Olympic sport.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think it's time for Would You Fund It?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Now
So-
all that awkward birthday-ings out of the way.
Indeed.
For those of you that are either newly tuning in, hello, you've caught the end of the series.
Although you should catch the next one because it's going to be good.
Yes. We run this little competition every week where we put forward to you, the audience, a thing that we think could be crowdfunded, and you tell us, yes, yeah, that could work, or no, I don't want to fund that. And we call it Would You Fund It? And so all of this
Appropriately,
series, we have taken it in turns to put together ideas for things, and Chris won overall in the series. I mean, there are 3 of us, so we could only really do it over the 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't really
So
add
for
up.
this one, we just thought, we're not going to compete against each other for this one. The 3 of us worked together to come up with this week's Would You Fund It? What is it, Catherine?
Well, there's that big event going on in Rio.
that thing.
Yeah. That thing. It's on all the telly things.
Oh, I don't. Oh, is that the one with all of the people in the short shorts?
Yep.
Right.
Teeny
Yep.
tiny shorts. Yep.
That, yeah.
So, but obviously, we're not involved. And probably could never be involved. But there's plenty of things I feel like I should be able to win a medal at.
Yeah. If only the Olympics were for stuff that we could do.
If only it was just a little bit more ridiculous.
That would be nice.
Welcome to the Ridiculympics coverage here on the GKL Sports Network, the premier place to watch this year's top sporting event for all that random stuff you wish you could win medals in, but actually can't. It's day 3 of our non-stop coverage, and we're waiting with bated breath at the Ridiculympic office cubicles, where Catherine is going for her 3rd consecutive gold in Ridiculympic work avoidance. Catherine, how do you feel about your chances?
I'm feeling good. I've been dodging calls all morning, but the real challenge is going to be deleting my LinkedIn account. I'm not sure anyone has ever successfully managed that before.
The competition there seems strong.
It's the team from China that have the real advantage, since most social media is banned in their country. Lucky sods.
Now, let's flick over to the IKEA Stadium, where representing Team GB is Ridiculympic furniture assembler Chris. Now, this is Chris's 4th time at the Games, but so far he's been unable to come home with a medal.
Yeah, I've always had very strong competition from the Swedish team, but this year I think I've put in the training to score silver or maybe even gold.
Has the training programme been intense?
You could say that. I try to get down to the local IKEA every weekend, which of course has the advantage of having veggie meatballs on tap. You know, they're an often overlooked part of the training regime. But the heavier duty training comes from the sheer number of requests I get to assemble furniture in people's homes.
I understand you're in quite high demand now.
Well, I certainly won't drop any names, but I've assembled flat pack furniture for many a singer and film star in recent months. It's hard work, and I do feel bad for a while, but then it makes me smile.
It makes you smile?
Yeah, it makes me smile.
Well, it's time we looked at one of the new sports for the 2016 Ridiculympics, competitive sandwiching. Far and away, the bookie's favourite is Kez, who joins us in the studio now. So, Kez, what's the deal with this new sport?
Well, it's more complicated than just eating a sandwich. You've got to make and then consume as many sandwiches as possible in a 15-minute period. It's not just points for speed either. You get points for creative sandwich fillings, quality of the ingredients used, and even choice of accompanying beverage.
And can you share one of your combinations with us?
Well, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I've got a lovely bit of brie warming, and the tea I'm having with it comes directly from India.
Well, there was some controversy about allowing teas from other countries as part of your entry, wasn't there?
That's right, yeah, but thankfully they decided to opt for Eurovision rules in the end. We can all sing in whatever language we want to while we're making the sandwiches, and that now extends to the tea and even the sandwiches themselves. I'm a huge fan of recreating celebrity sandwiches, like the Moist Maker that I'll be making later on today.
The one made famous by Ross Geller.
That's the one. In fact, David Schwimmer is part of the judging panel for that very reason. Let's just hope he doesn't steal any of my sandwiches.
Well, good luck, Kez. And don't forget about that brie. Coming up later on the GKL Sports Network, we've got coverage from the Extreme Ironing Arena, the shopping mall on sales day relays, and the competitive tutting at the person next in line at the post office. But now, let's head back to the Ridiculympic office cubicles, where Catherine is about to challenge the current world record holder at falling asleep without your boss noticing.
Nice.
Wake up, Catherine, wake up.
What was that?
So there you go, the Ridiculympics.
Yes.
I think that the Olympics could be a bit more ridiculous. I think it would be nice to have things that we could actually enter ourselves. I think I could do a really good job of competitive sandwiching. So much so that I think I'm going to set up a competitive sandwiching club.
Yes. The competitive sandwich league.
Yes. Yes.
I think
Yes.
this is more of a
forward to
would
that.
you compete than a would you fund it?
Yeah, it's like, would you want to get involved?
True, but everything needs a bit of money to run, doesn't it? So
True,
you can vote. While this is not for the three of us to decide who is a champion, you can vote to see if you would fund this or not. How do they do that, Chris?
They do that by heading on over to gkly.co/fundit. Or you can go to our Twitter account at GKLYCO, where we have tweeted a poll, and vote whether or not you would fund this. And at the moment, the early indications are looking pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think people just want to see competitive sandwiching be a thing.
Yeah.
I want to see competitive sandwiching be a thing. I'm hungry.
Excited for competitive IKEA, really. Because, I mean, not to construct my own bookcase, but I am pretty good at IKEA furniture. I would like to compete.
That's true. When we moved into a
that.
new studio, we just locked the door with you and the IKEA furniture, and then come back 3 days later.
And
to
here it
find
all was.
a very, very well set up studio environment. So we're good. I mean, I'm glad we left you that water bowl.
Yes, that was very useful.
Left the window open a crack, but
could have been problematic otherwise. But
yeah, just leave you some
all for the
water and a bit of air in a room for 3 days,
and suddenly you'll come back and find
the furniture is assembled.
Even furniture you don't remember leaving in the room.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't buy that, but you've set it up anyway. Fair enough. Don't know where it came from.
I think my mum would be particularly good at the extreme ironing.
But extreme ironing is like you've got to iron quickly, perfectly, but in all kinds of extreme situations, like a windy mountaintop. You've got to be able to ski, like snowboard, on an ironing board whilst ironing on it. So that's going to be quite tough. How to balance?
I remember.
I think it's fantastic.
I remember
like a weeble, wobbles, but she doesn't fall down.
A weeble wobble. Yeah, that would be very good at that then, I think.
Someone was caught extreme ironing on the M1 back in 2011.
Wow.
Just in the middle lane with an ironing board doing their ironing.
That's both stupid and impressive.
There's an article I'm looking at now that just said he was out doing it over Easter weekend, and the pictures look like the middle of the day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there he is.
Both ridiculous. We don't recommend anyone does this.
Don't do this.
Please
This is a level of
do
ridiculous that the Ridiculolympics does not endorse.
Yeah,
indeed.
But there he is. You can see him in the middle lane, just with his ironing board, flattening clothes.
Where does the power for the iron come from?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Because it's not ironing unless the clothes actually get ironed. Could have a generator there with him.
Perhaps he's got some kind of battery pack hidden
like a
under his dressing gown.
Ghostbuster style proton pack, just to power iron. Yeah. I'd strap a nuclear reactor to my back so that I could iron in extreme places.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
It's the Geekly Chronicles. It's a bit like fighting 100 duck-sized horses, only more ridiculous.
Well, we mentioned on the show before that it's Catherine's birthday.
We did.
Day of birth, day that you were born on some time in the past ago. But it's, we're thinking about birthdays and specifically about ages. Not going to talk about yours, but there's a very, very, very old thing that we've been reading about.
Something almost as old as me.
Something almost as old as you that we've been reading about this week.
A shark. A Greenland shark, to be precise.
Is it green?
It doesn't look green.
Okay.
In these nice pictures that I've got here on the BBC website. But it is old.
How old? Please elaborate on this story you are telling us about.
I am so the queen of suspense. There's this female shark, one of 28 that they were able to test, and this one was 400 years old.
400 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
That's 400 years.
So it's the oldest vertebrate on record.
Wow.
400 years old.
Yeah. So before that, the oldest vertebrate they'd found was a bowhead whale, estimated to be 211 years old.
But 400 years. Imagine seeing 400 years of history.
So when would this shark have
King
been born?
George? King George's reign? The first?
400 years ago, it would have been the year 1616.
So who was busy?
We really did
figuring
our
out-
research on
I
this
know,
story
yeah.
beforehand, didn't we?
Yes.
Let's open Wikipedia.
Let's look up 1616.
So, listeners, what were you doing in 1616? What were
Do
you
let
up
us
to
know.
400 years ago? Please tell us. Filling time here while you load Wikipedia down. Notable dates, 1616.
Well, apparently it was a leap year.
Oh.
Starting on a Friday, says
Okay.
the first sentence of the Wikipedia page.
Well, that's interesting. Do we know what the date of birth of this shark was? Is it that detailed?
No, it's not.
Okay,
They used
so we just know
some
400.
kind of carbon dating technique.
Should have
Like
just
some kind
asked
of
it,
magic.
really. When's your birthday? Want to send you a card? Could I put you in my diary?
Yeah, that would have been the polite thing to do, really.
Normally, I just rely on Facebook to tell me when people's birthdays are, so it'd be really handy if the shark just got with the times.
Is anyone Facebook friends with this shark?
Yeah,
That
if
would be
you know
useful.
this shark personally, can you let us know, please? We'd love to get it on the show. So what else? What else happened in 1616?
I don't know. It's really difficult to pick out interesting things from a list.
Yes.
Who was ruling the UK?
I don't know, but I do know that Louis the 13th of France was King of France. There you go.
So there we go.
Factical for you.
Brilliant.
We're not even. Yeah, I mean, we're not even going back. Yeah, wow. I mean, like when you look at list of British monarchs and it starts with the House of Stuart in 1707, like that's still after this shark was born.
Mm-hmm.
Smallpox happened in 1616. That epidemic situation.
Okay.
So we've seen, smallpox sort of come and go.
Yeah, since this shark has been around.
Right, this shark has seen so many Georges and Edwards on the throne. It must be sick of those names by now. They just seem to alternate. William, George, Edward, more Edwards. This is crazy.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So needless to say, there's been a lot of...
So if we're talking about old animals in general...
Mm-hmm.
If we start to bring vertebrates into, the all-animal record-breaking arena, it would still have some competition, because at the moment the most aged animal ever was a clam, named Ming, at 507 years old.
507,
Wow.
but I mean, I would say that sharks are very intelligent, much like dolphins. What's the general intelligence level of a clam like?
Don't know.
I've not really held many conversations with clams.
Are clams
Or sharks,
intelligent?
for that matter.
Where's Siri when you need Siri? Are clams intelligent? But I can tell you that when the shark was born, what's the shark's name?
Do we even know?
Do we even know the
I
shark's
can
name?
tell you that when the shark was born, James I was on the throne. Born in Edinburgh Castle, the son of Henry Stuart, did you know? And Mary, Queen of Scots. Married Anne of Denmark. They had 7 kids together. Died in 1625, James I. So, it was ruling from 1603. So it was very much on the throne at the time that this shark was born.
Came into existence.
Yeah. There have been quite a lot of kings and queens and other people since then. I mean, James I, Charles I. Then we get the Cromwells. Then we get the House of Stuart again for many, many, many kings. And then we get more House of Stuarts and blah, 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 blah. But yes, lots of kings and queens during that time, which is amazing. Also, lived through 2 world wars, and that was even in the most recent part of the shark's history.
This article does kind of vague it up a bit as we get towards the end, and does specify that because radiocarbon dating does not produce exact dates, they believe that she could have been as young as 272 or as old as 512, but she was most likely somewhere in the middle, so about 400.
Right. Well, that's going to make buying birthday cards really awkward.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many candles do you put on the cake? It's just, I mean, any cake of that size is going to be a fire hazard anyway.
Well, but I'm up for the challenge. I mean, I'm a competitive sandwicher. I can.
Can we put
birthday sandwich?
I've got to be able to be a competitive caker as well.
Yeah. Can we put potentially up to 512 candles on one cake?
I think so.
Without burning the studio down.
Oh well, I mean, I'm not sure we could fit a cake that size in the studio.
It depends how you distribute.
We'd have to clear like the mixing desk away, get rid of all the studio kit. Then we could probably put.
We'd probably have to get a forklift in to help, but
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm up for it. Are you up for doing a 512th birthday celebration for the shark? I mean, I know that's more of a deal than we've made out of your birthday, but the shark.
Yeah, this is a shark we're talking about.
I'm unlikely to eat you if you don't do a good job of celebrating my birthday.
It's not what I've heard.
But if we were the last 2 humans alive and you were really hungry...
If you were the last 2 humans alive, why would that make me any more likely to eat you?
Well, because you'd be hungry.
You're listening to the Geekly Chronicles. It's like the hoverboard from Back to the Future, only we exist.
Love that song.
All right, then.
Yeah.
I do. I like that song.
It's time for this week's Tumble Fumble. Are you ready for a scroll in the hay?
We are
Are
ready.
ya? Are ya?
No, I'm never ready, you know that.
This is true.
Politics is just too good right now not to have it all over the fumble all the time. So there's
Politics is too good. Define too good.
too good as in a complete steaming disaster.
Right.
Too easy to satirize.
So we have lots of Donald Trump for you.
As I'm sure you will appreciate.
I'm sure everyone's just delighted by that.
What have you found on the internet for us this week?
So I have Donald Maroney on Tumblr.
Right.
DonaldMaroney.tumblr.com,
Okay.
which is Jenna Maroney's words from 30 Rock, I believe,
Yeah.
Yes.
on Donald Trump's face.
Nice.
So, it pretty much is, well, I don't know, it speaks for itself, kind of.
It definitely does. These are very believable things that the Donald could have said.
And they found some fantastic pictures to put them over as well. Obviously, Donald Trump sort of what looks like he's judging some kind of beauty pageant. You know, there hasn't actually been a white Disney princess since 1991. There are little blonde girls in this country who have no idea they can be beautiful.
Yeah,
Season 4, episode 11 of 30 Rock, apparently.
indeed.
Ted, you are not the center of the universe, Donald. Donald, I am too. I'm the moon. Wow.
Yeah. There's one where Sarah Palin was giving her endorsement to Donald Trump, and he was stood in the background, kind of watching her speak. And they imagine he is thinking to himself, "This is terrible. I've never gone this long without talking." Oh wow!
Did I come across as interesting? Because I tried to mention Bono as much as possible. Wow. Yeah. Some of them we can't read out on air. I'm just
No,
rolling
some of
through,
them are
going,
very,
I could read this, but no, it's not happening. But it's certainly, it's certainly very interesting to see things that could very plausibly be Donald Trump quotes, but are actually fictional.
There's this one, which is possibly my favourite Jenna Maroney quote ever, where Donald is, I believe that's Mitt Romney he's gesturing towards, and he's saying, "I don't know a lot about business, but he did an internet, and now the computers like him, and Wall Street is Google."
Nice. I like this one. Just a pageant. That's like saying a guy is cool because he just has a speedboat.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's some pretty good quotes there, I think. I like this one.
Yeah.
I called 911. They wouldn't even connect me with their celebrity service.
Oh, wow.
Kim Jong-il? I've never heard of her. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
So, so what else have you found on the internet for us?
Right, yeah, I'm just mesmerised. Do you know how many mirrors I've smashed because I thought it was a blonde woman mocking me? Wow.
That actually sounds really quite plausible.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, we have more Trump this time, only the other way around. This is Donald Trump's words put on to somebody else.
Yes.
Donald Trump quotes seem to work rather well with Zap Brannigan from Futurama as well.
Right.
So
much so, in fact, that the voice actor, Billy West, who plays Zap Brannigan, read a few of them out and
Lovely.
tweeted them.
I think I've got some here, actually.
Ooh,
Fantastic.
can you,
Let's have a
play
listen.
us one?
And it's not a wig, it's my hair. Do you want to touch it?
Wow. So this is Zap Brannigan, the character from Futurama, who is very stupid.
Pretty much, but also has some power.
Yes.
The concept of global warming was created by the Chinese.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like something Zap Brannigan would say. What
All
else
of
have we got
these.
here?
What I say is what I say.
Yeah. Accurate.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, yeah.
There's only one more I've got here on the screen. I'm just waiting for it to load. But it's, the people had started putting, oh, wait, look at that. My browser window's crashed and everything.
Wonderful.
But
My fingers are long and beautiful. That's been well documented, along with other various parts of my body.
wow,
Oh, dearie
that's
me.
something Donald Trump actually said.
Yes, apparently it is.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
My fingers are long and beautiful. That's been well documented, along with other various parts of my body.
And sounds exactly like something.
The
Zach
next
Brannigan would
president
say.
of the United States, everyone.
Oh, dear.
No.
But yeah, I mean, this has come about because people started putting fictional quotes from Futurama, from the Zach Brannigan character, onto pictures of Donald Trump. And now the voice actor who has played Zach Brannigan is
Just decided to flip
doing
it around.
real
Say-
ones, which is
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow.
It is. It really is.
Whew. Yeah, so something completely different, I think, is now required. Just
Absolutely.
to, wash that out of our brains.
Definitely.
So, obviously, this week we have our special guest, who is a Quidditch player. So that got me thinking about Harry Potter. And I was already thinking about Harry Potter because I'm going to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child next week, which is really exciting.
Also, you're usually thinking about Harry Potter anyway.
Yep, yep,
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
indeed.
That is...
That is a play, a stage play,
Oh, cool.
in 2 parts. So it's 2 plays,
Yeah.
At the same time?
but one after the other.
Right.
Not like 2 plays happening at the same time.
Yeah, but you go and
Like
see
a-
them both.
Yeah. Well, you can see them on different days, or you can go and see them both. Like one is the matinee and one is the evening.
Oh, clever. Okay, I see that.
Although I kind of want to
Anyway.
have like 2 stages next to each other and like play one with the left eye,
And
play 2 with the right eye.
battling each other for just shouting over each other louder, like, "No, Hermione, I'm centre stage." I don't know what character that was. Hagrid, maybe.
Yeah.
Hermione, I'm centre stage. That's how Hagrid talks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
I'm not
Pretty
really an
That's
expert.
exactly
You've got like Hagrid that goes, and you've got Dumbledore that goes, and then you've got Hermione who goes, and then you've got Ron that goes. That's
Okay.
Harry Potter. That's my Harry Potter voices right there.
Brilliant.
brilliant.
And what's the other one that I missed out? The one with the scar on the forehead.
Oh, it just won't come to me.
What's his name?
Um,
Harry. That's it.
But Harry, what?
Smith? Longbottom. I can't remember.
Anyway.
moving on.
So, this is a Tumblr blog that I've known about for kind of ages, and I've just almost been waiting for the right moment to include it in the fumble. And it's one of those beautiful things that you just think whoever came up with this and then stuck with it is a beautiful genius, really.
Yeah.
So it's called The Setup Wizard, thesetupwizard.tumblr.com.
Like the things that you got in like Windows XP.
So it tells us it's live updates from the IT crew, their friends and students at Hogwarts.
Wow.
So this is kind of set post the Harry Potter books, when kind of Hogwarts sort of caves in to allowing students to use their, internet-enabled devices at Hogwarts. Some of the Muggle-born students are like, hang on, what? I can't Google things? And so they're like, yeah, okay, but we need an IT guy, obviously. So they bring in a Muggle to run IT at Hogwarts. So the first post is entitled "First Day on the Job." We'll tweet a link to this, which allows you to read it in order. In fact, there's a link right there at the top of the page that says "Read in Order," so just click that. Because obviously, otherwise it just drops you in mid-story and nothing makes sense. So, first day on the job. Where in the world do I begin? Hello, my name is Jonathan Dart, and as of today, I am officially the IT guy at Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. Whew. So you read that correctly. It took them until 2016, but both students and staff alike have finally caved and demanded that their cell phones work on school grounds. And with that request, they had to find a muggle, a term I am quickly learning to detest, to install Wi-Fi and maintain any technology that functions on school grounds.
Brilliant.
One of my favourite posts in this whole thing I've been reading through is just entitled "Never refer to them as bronies." Today I taught a centaur how to use a hands-free Bluetooth headset. Apparently he really felt the need to make phone calls whilst wielding a bow and arrow.
Sure. Who doesn't really?
But I just the title of the blog post, "Never refer to them as bronies." I can see that.
Wow. I mean, even another really early post, the room of false promises, desperately in need of a server room. So keeps finding the room of requirement. But then the moment he leaves, poof, it's gone and nothing works anymore.
Yeah.
So then obviously you desperately need a server room again. And it's just, back to the drawing board.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love this. I absolutely love this.
Do I tip them with mice? Please, if you need something fixed, send me a text, not a bird.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then obviously his team kind of grows as the story progresses, because obviously he needs more help. Somebody that knows the wizard world a little better than he does. And yeah, the story continues.
They literally refer to their common room as a dungeon, is the title of another of my favourite posts.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to set up Wi-Fi under a lake? The Slytherin kids almost refused to let me into their common room until I explained to them what Spotify is and how, with the magical power of the internet, they can stream all the emo music the little hearts could ever desire.
Yes.
Oh.
Very nice.
So there's one post I really love called "I Have the Power." When I was first starting out in this position, I had easily become the target of many pranks from the students. Did you know there is a spell that glues your feet to the ground? I know. It took all of 2 days and to quickly realise I literally have a switch that shuts off all the Wi-Fi access to the entire school. I don't need forbidden curses. I have more power than any witch or wizard at this school could ever possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a scary power to have.
There's another great short update. So, ghosts are real. This would have been a significantly more profound discovery had I not made it while on the toilet.
Oh, no.
I
Dear.
hope it wasn't Moaning Myrtle.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
Oh, dear.
And then foiled again by the room of requirement. Something called Gamp's Law prevents the room of requirement from making food. So much for my idea of having a secret Starbucks on school grounds.
Yeah. Nice.
This is somebody that clearly knows Harry Potter very well.
Yes.
And just genius.
Absolutely.
Now, apparently, it's pretty well established that Muggle tech and magic don't seem to work too well together. This very quickly drew disappointment from the headmaster, who admitted, with an air of defeat, that he had neglected to write down or even attempt to remember his login password because he assumed he could Alohomora his laptop to unlock it.
Yeah.
It took some pressuring
there.
for me for him not to set the password as Alohomora, simply because half the school is already using it as their password.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, dear.
That is
me.
fantastic. This is so geeky.
It is.
Absolutely
but
amazing.
I love it very much.
Yeah, the setup
Brilliant
wizard.
So good.
Go and check it out. We have tweeted links to all of the things that you have talked about.
Very
On
cool.
tonight's Tumble Fumble.
Yes,
Indeed.
So happy fumbling.
indeed. Now, speaking of happy fumbling, and speaking of happy birthday, I know, double scary, double.
Are you
Double
doing
threat.
a tumble fumble?
I'm sort of doing a tumble.
You're hijacking the fumble.
I'll just reveal.
A fumble jacking.
So way back when we relaunched Geekly in Series 2 and introduced the Tumble Fumble to the world,
Long time ago.
long ago, your very first fumble, Catherine,
Do I
Was-
even remember?
a fantastic blog called Terrible Real Estate Agent Photos.
It was.
I remember that.
I still love this blog.
So I present you with this.
It's
With
it's this for you that aren't in the studio and are listening via the magic
It's
of
a
radio
beautifully wrapped gift.
in beautiful
Some
wrapping
orange
paper.
Yes.
Are you going to open it? Come on,
I
let's.
am going to open it.
let's oh, there we go.
Oh.
Blimey, you
Competitive.
don't hang around.
The Ridiculolympics has found another sport. There we go.
Wow.
What is it?
It is Terrible Estate Agent Photos, the book of the most baffling property photographs ever taken.
So-
Yeah.
I recognise some of these.
So remind us again what that fumble was all about.
So it was images that had been found advertising homes online, presumably, that had obviously been taken by estate agents to advertise these places, but they weren't exactly doing their job.
No.
So anything,
So they made the house look pretty rubbish.
Pretty much, yeah. Or just plain weird.
So,
In some of them, there are strange people hiding.
Is there a good one in there that I can describe to the listeners?
Yeah. Hang on just a second. I just saw one that was sort of quite good. The one on the left there is quite good.
Oh, wow. That's
A little terrifying.
that is terrifying. It's a picture of a kitchen. The kitchen does not look too untidy, but there are some shelves in the kind of left-hand corner that appear to have a mannequin dressed like Freddy Krueger behind the shelves. I'm very afraid.
So at sort of first glance, you almost don't see what's wrong, and then when you see it, it's like, oh,
That noise specifically.
that noise exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but then there are some here. Is like this is like a living room where things have obviously been taken off the wall, and the wallpaper behind it is a totally different colour. Like, that's just gross. Why would you want to live there? That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, there's a whole theme running throughout the blog of the garden chair of solitude. You do the
Yes.
garden with just one garden chair in it.
So there's a
and
lot about the life of the person.
This seems to occur regularly, apparently, so it became a whole running theme, the garden chair of solitude.
Yeah.
There's one here where there's just a bathroom with a sink and a load of white powder all over the area, and the caption is just, "Let's be charitable and assume it's talcum powder." Indeed.
Yes.
For many of
Yes,
these,
let's.
it's the caption that makes them.
Well,
So, yeah, I think terrible real estate agent photographs.com was the link.
brilliant.
If I remember correctly, if anyone wants to check that out.
That does actually sound incredibly hilarious.
Phew. Yeah, I think I've shed a tear reading it in the past.
Well,
And now you have the book.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you.
so is that everything for our Tumble Fumble this week?
I think it
I
is.
believe so.
Amazing. What else has been going on this week? We've had the Olympics. That's been pretty cool.
That has been
Certainly
happening.
has. That's distracted me a lot this week.
It's
Yep.
also been quite warm weather-wise. We're sweltering in the studio.
We really are.
But we've had other weather in other parts of the UK.
We have.
Could that statement be any more vague?
Well, I thought you might use it as a little segue.
Yeah, I thought you might take the mantle and run with it there, Catherine. But
Well, Scotland, it's been windy.
Indeed.
it has a lot of bean eating been going on.
It's been windy as.
Ew.
Yeah, a lot of lactose intolerant people eating a lot of cheese.
Oh.
I
You weren't talking about that kind of wind, were you?
No.
don't think
Right,
so.
that was
No.
me just sat here
No.
making
The
fart jokes.
Met Office issued a yellow "Be Aware" weather warning
yellow
covering
bee.
most of the country of Scotland as wind speeds reached 115 miles per hour.
But what I heard with that, and what was quite cool, is that the winds were so strong in Scotland that it managed to generate all of its own electricity for a day
Yeah,
from the wind turbines.
106% of its electricity needs.
That's incredible. So just
pretty
imagine if
impressive.
it was that windy in Scotland all the time, they would never need a nuclear power station again.
Yeah.
Or any other kind of power
Yeah,
generated
the
tech.
wind would literally power everything.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It is.
It's extremely cool.
Big tick in the box there for sustainable energy and all that.
Yeah. I like that.
Well
it was
done,
all,
Scotland, for being windy. I approve.
I like that it was all wind turbines in Scotland as well. So they don't need to be connected in any way to.
It's
other-
almost like they don't need England anymore.
Almost. I can't think what message that is sending to us over here.
Well,
But-
it must have been a very convenient wind speeds, because when wind gets too high, they sometimes have to just shut the turbines down and put the brakes on, because
Yeah.
it would actually
Yeah.
be unsafe to be running them. So
It must have been a very,
Top
yeah,
Very
it must have been perfect conditions.
ideal electricity generating conditions.
Yes.
Yeah, fascinating.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'd quite like to generate all of my own electricity as well.
Are you windy enough to do that, do you reckon?
Well, I am lactose intolerant,
Yeah.
so
probably make
yes.
that happen. Yeah.
I mean, I would have no problems with wind at all if I didn't keep eating cheese.
This is true.
But I keep eating cheese.
Yeah.
It's the competitive sandwiching.
It's a problem.
It's just
I
not the
just
same
load
without
up. I load
cheese.
up on cheese.
It can be a real stressful thing for athletes' bodies. Can the Olympics? So
I love cheese.
The sandwiching really takes a toll.
Yeah, and I hear actually that all the Olympians out in Rio de Janeiro. I can say the names of
Nice.
countries. Rio
Nice.
Digestive Biscuit.
Yep.
Are eating
Cities
cheese
even.
in between cities, yes, are eating cheese in between all of their sports. Do you know that cheese
Why
actually
not?
helps Olympic divers focus, helps swimmers get buoyancy? Without cheese, you're too light. You see, you've got to have a bit of weight when you're in the water.
Right.
Helps with the shot put because they can take like a wheel of cheddar and throw it.
Practice. Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that be better with the discus?
I think that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Right.
probably.
I suppose there's sort of little,
A ball of Edam for the
little
shot
like
put.
balls of Edam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for the shot
Good
put, yeah.
launch.
Ah, why didn't we do that for the Would You Fund It? The Cheese Olympics. The Chilympics. The Chilympics. Well, yes, there is that. What a song. Do enjoy that. So, we've tumbled, we've fumbled,
We have.
we've had lots of tumbling and fumbling. But you were talking a bit about that play.
I was. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
It's quite exciting. So
It
this is the
is.
first new Harry Potter related thing in a little while, right?
Yeah, I think we got the last book in 2007.
So that was
And-
almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, and the last film was a few years after that.
Well remembered.
I know, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But there are lots of things from the Harry Potter universe that are kind of making their way into the real world, which I find amazing.
There are
Things like
Well,
Quidditch.
things like Quidditch, I suppose.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going for
Okay.
here. Remember, it's that time of the show where we bring on our guest. Our
Right,
guest is-
okay.
so we're talking about Quidditch.
I need a break.
Yeah. It's a bit warm here in the studio. So Quidditch seems to have kind of leapt from page to screen to reality now, and we should be joined on the line now by a very real life Quidditch player, Rachel. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Quidditch,
That's
then.
okay, thanks.
It's
Yeah.
You know, I loved the Harry Potter books and I loved the idea of Quidditch. One of my most favourite stories, though, because I was not a young child when I read the Harry Potter books, but I remember reading an interview with J.K. Rowling who said that a lot of younger children were really like punching the air when Quidditch games were won in the book and stuff like that, and hugging each other and being really kind of roused by this idea of Quidditch in the books. And obviously it was brought to life on screen really well. But how was that converted into to real life? I'm presuming you don't fly.
Yeah. So pretty obviously we don't fly, but we do have a broom between our legs. Well, not a broom. These days we use a length of PVC piping. So it's a full contact mixed gender sport that's played on the ground on a field. And you have all the players on pitch have a broom between their legs that they have to keep there. It's kind of like a handicap. So like in rugby, you have to pass backwards. In basketball, you can only dribble. So it's sort of to level the playing field a bit. Because if you dismount your broom, you have to go back and touch your hoop. So there are hoops at each end of the pitch. And then you have up to 7 players on the pitch. Anyone who's seen or read the book will know that you have 3 chasers whose job it is to score through the hoop with the quaffle, which in real life Quidditch is a slightly deflated volleyball. And so they pass and shoot that between them, running up the pitch and try and shoot with that. But then at the other end of the pitch is each team has 1 keeper whose job is to defend the hoop, much as keepers do in most sports.
And there
then
are
on attack,
3
the
hoops,
keeper-
right?
There's 3 hoops, yeah. So 3 vertical hoops of different heights, each one. And so then on attack, the keeper can become like a chaser and try and score. But like I said before, it's full contact, so people tackle each other. Like there are some rules to the tackling, like you can only tackle the person with the ball and you can only tackle from the front with 1 arm. But yeah, so people just tackle each other, take them to the ground and try and get the ball off each other.
Yikes.
And yeah, but then to add into that, you have beaters, which, as anyone who's seen the films and read the books knows, that the bludgers are balls that fly around and try and knock people off their brooms. And so we use dodgeballs for bludgers, which the beaters throw at the other team. And so you have 2 beaters on each team,
Wow.
but 3 bludgers.
Right.
So they have to fight to get control of more of the bludgers.
Nice.
And if you get hit with a bludger, you have to dismount your broom, go back and touch your hoops.
Right.
And so that sort of levels the playing field a bit more, in that because there can be quite large people who will try and just run straight through the chasers, but if you get hit with the ball, no matter what your size, you have to turn around and go and touch your hoops and drop the quaffle if you're holding it.
Wow.
And then 18 minutes into the game enters the snitch, which obviously is a tiny winged golden ball in a fictional version of the sport, but we use a tennis ball in a sock velcroed to the shorts of a person.
Right.
So the snitch runner is a neutral person, kind of like another referee, who enters the game at 17 minutes, and then a minute later the speakers are released, and they have to try and get this tennis ball in a sock by basically wrestling with the snitch. And
Wow.
so all of this is going on at once, and it can be a bit intense. And then beat of play has to go between seekers and chasers, and it's a lot of fun and just gets quite confusing to watch if you don't know what's going on.
I can imagine.
So I heard a funny story about the Quidditch players when they first started playing Quidditch at the university I attended. It was sort of after I was there, but when they first started playing Quidditch and the rules sort of weren't, properly established yet. And their snitch would, I suppose, do anything to escape getting caught, including taking the bus into town. Other rules as to what the snitch can and can't do to avoid getting caught.
When it started, there were lots of there were very few rules to begin with, and slowly what was got added in. So snitches used to be able to climb trees and go across lakes and just go into town and whatever.
Nice.
And then slowly they got tamed down. Like, it was only a couple of rule books ago that we stopped off-pitch seeking. So, like, the snitch used to leave at the beginning of the game and run off, and you could catch them off-pitch. But now we only have it at 18 minutes. The snitch comes on pitch because it just makes it a bit easier, really, to know what's going on.
I suppose it's quite interesting having a sport that in the Muggle world, as I suppose I should say it. It's probably wrong for me to say the real world. That is so new that the rules must be iterating all the time. It's not like something like football, not a sport that I'm a particularly big fan of, but the rules of that seem to change very little over time. But it sounds like this has been something that's been evolving quite a lot recently.
Yeah, it is. Pretty much every year for the past few years, we've had a new rule book. We're literally a few days, a couple of weeks ago, I think, the rule book 10 was dropped, and the sport's only been around for almost 11 years now. So, yeah, pretty much almost every year we've had a new rule book with slightly different rules.
And so you're part of a team. How many teams are there up and down well, certainly, let's talk about the UK for now. How many teams are there up and down the country?
In the UK, I think there's between around 30 and 40 teams at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm part of the Nottingham Nightmares, who are obviously based in Nottingham. And yeah, I think probably somewhere between 30 and 40. It's taken off quite considerably in the past couple of years. Like, a few years ago, there were only about sort of 15 to 20 teams, and then the past 2 seasons, the number has just shot up, and everyone's getting involved now.
And is there a league?
There's not a league as such. It's a bit, because it's a mostly sort of student. Most people who play are students, so it's a bit hard for people to, like, every week go and play a game up and down the country, because it's sort of funded by yourself a lot of the time. So we have tournaments, and there's annually we have the British Quidditch Cup, where sort of as many teams from around the country that can get together and play and sort of find out who's the best at that time.
That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, well,
and then a couple of weeks ago, actually, there was the Quidditch World Cup, which was the third of its kind, where national teams actually played against each other. and the UK did really well, and we came third out of 21 teams. So that was pretty good.
Wow, played in 21 countries at least.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you get into Quidditch then? And it's kind of sounds like the sort of sport that would be quite fun to play, but I only really heard about Quidditch teams just from looking on things like Twitter and Facebook and stuff. What got you into it?
Well, I joined because when I started university, I found out that my uni had a Quidditch society, and I was quite a big Harry Potter fan, so that's what got me into it. And I was just like, oh yeah, I can give this a go. It'll be quite fun. And then just got hooked on it and just carried on playing. Like, other people give it a go, like, see that it's a thing and think it's ridiculous, give it a go as a laugh, and then realise it's actually quite an intense sport and quite a lot of fun. And just that's what gets them into it. But it's like, so everyone has different things to get them into it, but I think it's a Harry Potter aspect for me, really.
And you know, how open is it a sport? I mean, you mentioned that it's a mixed gender sport, but it seems like because a lot of people would be interested in joining as a result of, you know, being a Harry Potter fan or kind of hearing about it going to university, is it the kind of thing that anyone can get involved in and have a go?
Yeah, literally anyone can have a go. It's, like I said, it's a mixed gender. It's very gender inclusive, so you get a lot of transgender and non-binary people who join the sport and then find out that they get to play as the gender they identify as. Because, so one of the rules in Quidditch is the 4 maximum rule, which means you can have no more than 4 people who identify as the same gender playing on pitch at the same time. So, yeah, it's very, very inclusive. And then as far as athletic ability comes into it, because you have the broom that acts as a handicap, and then bludgers, and then different positions, and then different people of different body types find different ways to be good at the sport. It's really inclusive, and so anyone can give it a go. And then even if you don't feel that you're that good at it when you give it a go, you don't have to go to tournaments and stuff. So a lot of people just play because they really enjoy it, and everyone's accepted. And yeah,
Sounds like it'd be a really good laugh. I kind of feel like I want to go back to
it can
university
be.
again so I can play Quidditch.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I feel like I want to go back to university again, but I do feel like I want to play Quidditch.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
I think.
So, I mean, it sounds absolutely fantastic, and it's, you know, sounds like such an open sport to get involved in. So, how do people get involved? Is it just at universities, or are there recreational teams out there? Is it being played in schools?
Well, there's been a few sort of school events called that. So when younger people play it, it gets known as Quidditch, and it's sort of ran by a lot of people.
Oh.
Nice.
Older players play it, and sort of take it to schools and stuff. But there are mostly in this country at least, it's university-based teams. But there are a few community teams, and more are setting up sort of as players graduate and want to carry on playing, and they set up community teams. And then London has 2 community teams set up. But like a lot of the community teams, a lot of the university teams accept people who aren't at the university to play for them. So literally anyone can get involved if they can find like a team that's near to them.
Oh, that's awesome. I just love the idea of Quidditch. Sounds quite cool, actually. I think we need to start a petition with the government that Quidditch should be a sport that is in schools like football and rugby. I think it sounds a lot more accepting than football and rugby at school.
Yeah.
I'd probably have hated PE a bit less if I got to do Quidditch in school.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't mind some of PE, but I wasn't a big fan of the sports part of it.
That was my main problem.
Yeah.
The sports, the going outside, and the having to remember to drag a kit bag around were the 3 things that kind of made PE problematic.
Yeah, and that whole, if you then decided to leave your kit bag at school because it was easier after a few weeks, nobody wanted to stand anywhere near you.
Yeah.
It got a bit ripe.
Yeah.
I
Although I
remember
have
leaving
to
my
say-
trainers everywhere and then
dear.
always having to go back for them. Oh, it's the worst.
I left a sandwich in my locker once in year 7, and I found it again by the time I got to like year 8. No, you're like year 9 or year 10.
Oh dear.
It was not good.
Oh no.
It was not good.
We weren't allowed lockers, probably because of things like that.
We got
The
lockers for
sandwich
the first
incident.
time when I started secondary school, and I think they took them away after that. Turned into some kind of biological warfare thing with my sandwich attacking anyone that came anywhere near the lockers.
Oh dear.
So back to Quidditch.
Yes.
Via a momentary sandwich detour, which does happen to me fairly often.
True.
Thinking about the Olympics, then, how far off do you think we are of having Quidditch as an Olympic sport?
Ooh, that'd be good.
Probably quite far at the moment, I'd say. So one of the things that I think that would be stopping it being like an Olympic sport is sort of the snitch aspect of it, because I think at times that sort of throws a bit of a wild card into the mixture that you don't really get in other sports, because obviously it's not like two teams battling it out, it's two teams battling it out against a third person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's sort of keeping us off for a while. But
A lot of other Olympic sports are very formulaic, aren't they? They're quite dull when you think about it. Quidditch is really the only interesting sport that has that kind
air of ridiculousness.
Air of mystery. Be perfect at the Ridiculympics.
It would.
Yeah. But so recently, Quidditch UK, which is the governing body for this country, got recognised by a sporting. I can't even remember what it's called now, but it's a stage that is on the way to helping us get recognised by Sport England, because that's sort of the goal at the moment, to hopefully in the future get recognised as an actual sport. But
I mean, obviously it is an actual sport, but I guess does that like unlock funding and things like that?
Yeah. It would sort of help us get more funding and get because at the moment we're entirely run by volunteers. Like no one is getting paid on the Quidditch UK by Quidditch UK yet. Referees are the only people. Head referees are the only people who are currently getting paid.
Ah.
Wow. Yeah, so that's a very important and really important quest there to get recognised as a sport. That could open a lot of doors and also get a lot of people talking about it as well.
Yeah. Like the more we can get people talking about it, the better it will be as well. The more people that get involved, the bigger it will grow.
So what can we do, us non-Quidditch players, not just necessarily the three of us sat here in the studio, but all of those people listening that don't play Quidditch, what can we do to help get Quidditch recognised as a sport?
Probably sort of treat it as an actual sport when you're talking about it. It's like, rather than it just being sort of a ridiculous spectacle that you see some nerds in a park playing this sport, because it's sort of the way people treat it helps with that. And then it's like not relating it as much to the Harry Potter aspect, because it's sort of grown into something else in its own right now. Like, to begin with, obviously it was just sort of a bunch of people who are Harry Potter fans started this sport, but now it's grown into its own thing, and it's sort of thrown off a lot of the ties to the Harry Potter world. And we try to sort of get sort of articles written about it to not sort of do all the really bad Harry Potter jokes and everything about it. And I think that's most of it. Just sort of treat it as an actual sport and just not laugh at it, really.
Oh yeah, I mean I think that's it's nice if people don't laugh at anyone for doing anything that they like, isn't it? But let's be realistic. 4chan exists, so but it is amazing to see new sports coming and people being so passionate about it. So what is next for you and Quidditch? Are you going to come on and become the head of Quidditch UK? Are you going to be one of these players that we see in the Olympics in a few years' time?
I doubt I'd be head of Quidditch UK. I don't feel like that's kind of my thing. But no. So the new season's about to start in a few weeks, and I'm just hoping to do well and win some games this season. Like, I didn't make Team UK last year. That's something I might aim for, but I don't know. I guess just hope to do the best I can, win some games, do some Quidditch.
And what position do you play?
I'm a beater.
Ah.
Yeah, I hurl dodgeballs at other people.
Nice.
See, now that in itself just sounds like a fun hobby.
Yeah, that's probably what
Very
I'd want to do.
stressful. Relieving.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, who needs a stress ball when you can throw stuff at
You can
people?
bounce dodgeballs off
Yeah.
people.
Oh, definitely.
Excellent. So where can people watch this this spectacular sport if they want to get involved? Is there a website that has fixtures on? Is it just a club by club thing?
Well, so anything that's QUK official would be on the Quidditch UK website, which is quidditchuk.org. So they try and put up as much as they can and advertise stuff there. And then just generally searching Twitter and Facebook for Quidditch, you can find your nearest teams, and teams try to post when they're playing games and stuff. Yeah. So Quidditch UK website mostly, and you can find out where all of the nearest teams to you are and sort of get in contact with them if you wanted to find out when they're training and stuff as well.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
We encourage any of our listeners to get involved.
Absolutely.
One last question for you, and this is almost a challenge that I'm giving the three of us here in the studio as well. Much to Chris and Catherine looking at me over the studio unfavourably here. But one of the things, and I know we just talked about differentiating Quidditch from the books and the films of the Harry Potter universe, but one of the quintessential things that people will remember from seeing Quidditch in the films is the commentary that goes along with it. Do you have commentators at Quidditch games?
We do try to have commentators. If anyone goes onto YouTube and finds any Quidditch games, a lot of them will have some commentary, and the commentary is just as good as the stuff in the films and the games. During World Cup was actually live streamed, and we had a commentator on there who was brilliant. But we do try to get commentary on as many games as we can, because it tends to be quite stupid, quite witty, quite banterous at times.
Well, I'm going to challenge us here, the crew here in the Geekly Chronicles studio, to at some point during the next Quidditch season, the three of us need to go see a Quidditch game, catch some commentary, and do some interviews. What say you, Catherine and Chris?
I say
It's worth a shot.
I would be more than up for going and watching some Quidditch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. And yes, let's do it. Oh dear, what have you put me down for? But yeah,
well, I've said it live on air now, so you have to.
Well, I want to go and
That's the
watch the
rule.
Quidditch.
Yeah.
So
It's that whole adding work into the thing. Like, I'm an Olympic. I'm a ridiculous Olympic gold medal holder in work avoidance. What do you think I think of this?
Although
it's true.
If we do go and watch some Quidditch and commentate it, we can put it down as a business expense. So
there you go then.
That's incentive enough for me.
We'll buy all of the post Quidditch pizza. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It's been absolutely amazing to hear about Quidditch.
Thank you for having me. It's been great talking about it.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure, and we hope that you'll keep in touch and let us know how the season goes, and we will endeavour to keep Quidditch on our radar here in the show.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Geekly Chronicles. It's like Game of Thrones, but without the nudity. Mostly.
And now, the final forecast, issued by the Geekly Chronicles on behalf of Europe at 1900. The general synopsis this evening. Sipping, first attempt, finding feet, generally good. Sticking, with it, regular feature expected. Dripping, eventually fixed, furniture damage, moderate or severe. Flipping, 5, free willy expected, if not required. Clipping, 2, would you like some help with that? Gripping, alternating strong and loose, Velcro expected, good. Slipping, 9, blame placed, claim predicted, liability easily proven. Skimping, windy for both wallets and skirts, alternating explicit and expensive. Whipping, upper storm, extreme force warning. Shipping, alternating 8 and 9, green balls everywhere, impressive focus required. Tipping, 10. We are on the edge, all of us. Dipping, alternating 4 and 5. Kez still not relinquishing tzatziki. Licking, 4. Dry tongues all around. Stripping. Gritting, 5. Effects on teeth, 2. Forecast writing, difficult, becoming strenuous. Ripping, 8. Well-formed and perfectly toned. Shopping, 10. Not endorsed by well-known Swedish furniture retailer. Chipping, large, cod and curry sauce, good. Shipping, romantic, if not incomprehensibly niche. Fandoms likely. And that ends the final forecast.
Game of
Whoa.
Geeks time.
My favourite part.
Uh-huh.
I love Game of Geeks.
It's all right for some,
Only
innit?
because you've already won the,
Yes.
Sort of.
the series.
Already won.
So, yeah, for kudos, we're playing.
I'm mainly playing for... Well, I was going to say playing for pride, but I'm mainly playing for shame at this point.
Well, yeah, this is the point in the show, indeed, where Chris and I are head-to-head, with Catherine being the question master, and we are here with our fingers on our very swanky, glowy green buttons.
And this
Yes.
week, Kez goes Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Well, now, Catherine, since it's your birthday, we trawled
Oh,
back
dear.
through previous shows and found some of your weirdest quotes. So again, I go,
Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Nice.
because that's something you said at one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember. And Chris goes Fingers in your mouth.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I
You
said that
say
as
some
well.
odd things, Catherine.
You do.
You say
You
some
really
odd
do.
stuff.
I do. But I also ask questions.
You do?
Well, I give clues. Let's
Yes.
be pedantic about that. So,
Fingers on buzzers.
fingers on buzzers, indeed. So I'm going to give 3 clues to a thing.
A thing, indeed.
A thing, and
Golly.
if you guess it on the first clue, you get 3 points. Second clue, 2 points. Third
And
clue,
who's
1 point.
winning currently?
Well, currently
Uh-huh.
Kez is winning.
By
Too much to even bother.
too many to count. Okay, so Chris, this is more of a playing for the lulls
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. I
So-
don't even know why we're
Lols.
bothering.
because it's fun.
Uh-huh.
Because I live in hope of Catherine someday giving us questions that you can answer and I can't.
I can answer the...
I think next series we might even switch it up and I'll be the quiz master like I was on that show where I was away. But who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Anyway,
Right. The first thing you will be guessing is an app.
an app.
Golly.
Yes. An
Okay,
app.
I'm not very good with these.
Okay. So clue number 1.
Okay.
The Olympics has caused the 129
Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Tinder.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Please complete the clue. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Olympics has caused a 129% increase in usage of this app in Rio.
Yeah, I read that the other day, but apparently people are really
Wow.
feeling the Olympic fever out there.
Clearly. Clearly.
Yeah, swipes are up 129% around the Olympic Village
all
area.
that swiping to the right.
Well, I mean...
Okay, so that's 1 point.
Fair
for me.
enough.
3 points
Yeah.
for me, rather.
So there we go.
Never mind. Okay.
That's 3 points for Kez. Woohoo. And right, the second thing we're going to be guessing is a film.
A film.
A film.
Film. Okay.
Motion
Okay.
picture.
A motion picture. Yes. A talkie, if you will. So
I will.
this was the highest grossing film of 1985. Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Ghostbusters.
No.
Ooh.
Ah.
Okay.
No.
I've got other tricks up my sleeve.
Okay. Right.
You know Ghostbusters has already been the answer to a question in this series, right?
Yeah, it could have been the answer to 2 questions. This is Catherine we're talking about.
Yeah, she's not that bad at question
A
writing.
Ridiculolympic champion in work avoidance.
True.
Just reusing my old clues.
Uh-huh. All right,
Yeah.
come on then, give us
Okay,
the
so
next
clue
one.
number 2. It was the beginning of a franchise with
Gothic
2...
Australian Doctors for Africa.
Back to the Future.
Yes.
Ah!
It's really confusing because she's talking and then you press the button and she's also talking.
Maybe we should have slowed the voice down a bit. So
Maybe.
Gothic Australian.
Put some sound effects on it. That would have been better.
Gothic Australian.
like that. Gothic Australian exterminate. That could have worked.
I'm
Yes.
more kind of celebrate today.
Yeah,
Yes.
indeed.
Right. Anyway.
That was 2 points
that
to me,
was
was it?
2 more points for Kaz. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm
I don't know why I
writing
didn't
this
say
down.
Back to the Future first. I'm a bit of an
Next up.
expert in films that came out in the mid 80s. I love them.
Yeah.
Next
This
up,
is
we
true.
have a TV show.
Okay, Chris might be better at this one
It's
than me.
lucky because I almost just said, next up we have, and then the name of the TV show.
You're a great quiz host.
I am
You really are.
so good. Okay, so clue number 1. This show has had 9 seasons, or it had 9 seasons, and aired from 2001 to 2010 on NBC and later ABC. Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Is it Scrubs?
Yes.
Feel free to buzz in anytime you like, Chris.
Gosh.
Oh, come on. You've just been watching it.
Yes, but I could not remember the exact dates of when it was and
But you remember how
Where
these
it was.
questions work. Catherine bases the questions on things we've been doing
I
recently,
know.
and you've just started watching Scrubs,
yeah.
which is amazing, and you should have watched before. But wow, okay.
Okay.
I am like the janitor wiping the floor with you here.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Oh, it all started with a penny in the door.
Okay, so for Chris to regain a little self-respect here, we have one more question.
Okay.
Possibly 2 more, depending how I feel.
Okay.
So next up, we have
Alright.
an Olympic sport.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm going to operate the buzzer with my feet for this one to give Chris more of a chance.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I can't quite get my foot up onto the desk.
There's some contortion.
Yes.
rhythm
I'm not an
happening.
Olympic gymnast. I'm going to use my fingers instead.
Okay. So clue number 1. This sport uses terms like banana ball, fat shot, and foursome.
Well, that could mean anything.
Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Shot put?
No.
Okay. I'm guessing. I don't really know.
So, clue number 2. Technically, Ron on Twitter, who we love and have mentioned on the Fumble before,
Yeah.
referred to this sport in his handy infographic as pest control.
Oh. I feel like I did not memorize that infographic.
We will
enough.
have to retweet this.
Gothic
wonderful
Australian
infographic.
Doctors
for Africa.
Is it curling?
No.
Okay.
Curling, the well-known summer Olympic sport.
Oh, well, yeah, fair point, fair point. It is at least an Olympic sport.
Can
Fingers in your mouth.
hockey?
No.
I was thinking like the banana stick shape. I don't know.
No.
I don't know what I was thinking.
The
Okay.
hockey stick is in the shape of a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So
On we go.
clue number 3 for, come on, 1 point.
All right, we're
Get
doing
off
this.
the ground. Okay, so there's been sparked quite some sort of debate and controversy as many of the top competitors in this sport dropped out due to worries over the Zika virus. Gothic Australian Doctors for Africa.
Do you know the answer to this one as well?
I probably would have had I been given more than half a second.
Okay,
to
well, go
think
on.
about
I'll be charitable. I buzzed, but if you can give the correct answer first, because I do know this one now, I will let you have the point. How's that?
That's. I feel like I'm being afforded.
Do you know the
levels of-
answer or not? Yes, no.
Maybe.
Go on.
I don't.
Just,
Top of your
just say
head.
a
Just
sport.
say a sport.
Rugby.
Golf.
Yes, golf.
Yes! The Zika thing was
Golf.
in the news. It's all golfers that dropped out.
I don't pay much
Anyway.
attention to golf.
No, but I pay quite a lot of attention to viruses and things that could potentially kill me, so I tend to pay attention to those news stories.
I
Zika
prefer
virus
not
threatening
to.
the Olympics. Oh, it's golfers. Never mind.
So
I prefer
for,
to be in denial about those things.
Yes.
for a small bonus,
Okay.
there is a musical theatre item to guess.
Ooh.
Right.
Fingers in your mouth. Oh.
Are you going to guess it? Are you going to have a wild stab in the dark here without having had a single clue, Chris? I'm all ears.
I am. Yes. Because you see, you know that thing that Catherine has done so beautifully on Game of Geeks?
Well, like make all of the
Of
answers
making
things
the
that we
answers.
have all just done this week.
Yes. I'm going to use what I know about things that have happened this week and things which we shall be treating you to later in the show. And guess that the answer to this question is Oliver.
Yes. Have 3 points.
Wow. So,
Great.
so is that the end of
Thank
Game
you.
of Geeks this
I think
week?
it is,
Okay,
yeah.
well, let's tot up the points then. Who's got what?
So,
do
Chris
we
has,
need, really
3
do we
points.
really need to do that?
Chris has 3 points. Okay.
Good for me.
And hang on. Kez has. I
Kez
just
has
did a
an
bit of
amount that
mistyping.
Catherine can't count, clearly.
Has 8 points.
8 points. Wow,
8
Chris
points.
wins.
No, 8.
Oh, okay, which means I have to press this particular button again then, don't I?
This week's winner is... Kez.
I'm surprised that button hasn't broken from overuse.
Yeah,
Mainly because you just play it to yourself most of the time before we go on air.
I switch them over every week so that they at least get equal wear and tear on the buttons.
Oh, dear.
Chris, what can I say?
Well, you could say a lot of things, but I have a feeling you're not going to say any of them because all the things in my head are pleasant and non-gloaty.
I wasn't going to gloat. I was going to say we need to fix this because I've trounced you this series. I have utterly defeated you. So okay, I'm gloating.
Do we
aren't I?
need mastermind styly kind of specialist subjects?
I think so. Maybe we do. Maybe we need to shake it up for the next series and
put someone else in the chair, perhaps.
Well, I was going to say maybe we need to shake it up next series and make it a lot easier for Chris.
That was kind of the idea at the beginning of this series, though,
harder
and
for
look
me.
how well that worked.
Maybe we just need to make it harder for me.
Possibly.
Maybe we just need to take
Or maybe
me out
make
of
the
it.
competitors of a similar sort of age and experience.
Yeah, maybe we need to shake
put
it up a
Chris
bit.
in an aging machine.
Yeah. Bless. Aww. Well,
I'm
Chris
older
is...
than the both of you
Yeah.
mentally, so that's fine.
That is true. That is true. The old lady of the team, Chris is.
Yep.
But speaking of...
Oliver.
yeah,
That's the segue.
interestingly- yeah.
That's
Speaking
the
of-
segue that we totally haven't planned.
Yeah.
This is all scripted.
It's funny thinking about the end of a series
Funny,
of
is
Geekly.
it?
Well, this is the end of Series 4 of the Geekly Chronicles.
It is.
We've got Series 5 coming up in September, on the 30th of September, so we know when we're going to be back.
Do we? This is the first I'm hearing. Just put that in my calendar,
Please
really.
do, yeah. If you fancy coming back, I mean, I'm sure we can find a replacement if we desperately need to.
I mean, that's another solution to the Game of Geeks problem, to make me less bad at it. It's
just
to fire me.
you. Yeah, that's we'll take a vote on that one later. But
I kind of regret having suggested it now. But go on.
I feel a little nostalgic getting to the end of a series. And, at the end of Series 2, you put together a great kind of clip of the best bits. The end of Series 3, we tried to do something entirely different and wacky and zany altogether and get, an audience in a room for a day. And that, we provided some interesting results and very high stress levels for us.
Yes.
This time around, I don't know, I was feeling a little bit musical theatre about it all.
Aww.
And I was moved. And one of the musicals that I've always quite enjoyed was Oliver. And it did make me think, what if we took that musical theatre magic and thought a bit about the end of the series with a slightly musical retrospective? Consider yourself a geek. Consider yourself one of the nerdy ones. You're listening to our show. It's clear you're one of the cool kids. No, consider requests we play. Consider the guests we get on every time. We've given you lots of stuff. We're there even if we're feeling rough. And so we've reached the end of another series. It was the fourth of these we've done. Now there's a few weeks off before we all come back again for Season 5, come rain or sun. Consider yourself our friend. We love having you tune in. For after some consideration we must say, please listen to us once again. Consider yourself entertained. Consider yourself one of our listeners. We're glad that you have stopped by. We like you more than we like a pie. Whether it's Game of Geeks, Fund It or a tumble, we'll be humble and proud. We will grab the mics and pull on our headphones. Turn your speakers up too loud. We don't want to leave you sad. You won't even know we're gone. For after some date searching, we can truly say we won't be away for too long. For after some deliberation and some cake, we're just having a little break. Consider yourself a geek. Consider yourself one of the nerdy ones. We're sad to be saying bye, but hey, it's just for a week or 5. Consider requests we play. Consider the guests we get on every time. We've given you lots of stuff. We're there where the sun or the weather's rough. Whether it's Game of Geeks, Fund It, or a forecast, or the songs you ask to hear. We will grab the mics and pull on our headphones and fill your Friday nights with cheer. We don't want to leave you sad. We hope that you'll shout out loud. And while we're off the air, stand up and proudly say, I'm Geekly and proud. I was a little enthusiastic.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you know, it's nice to have a bit of a sing-song.
Just the right amount of enthusiastic.
Yeah, I think so. So
The music warranted it.
So yes, we are indeed going to be off the air for a few weeks, but don't you worry, we'll be back on September the 30th with Series 5, and there is a very special show next week. Rather than having a fortnight off, we are doing a special after-hours show for the more grown-up of our audience.
Yes.
That will not be recorded, but will probably contain more swearing than the show does.
Yes. Rather
Not
a
be
large
family
amount
friendly.
more.
But as for the last Would You Fund It of the series, Chris, how has that gone?
Well, as you will remember at the beginning of the show, we pitched the Ridiculympics to you, the listeners, and asked whether or not you would fund it, and it seems by a majority you would.
Excellent.
75% of our audience tonight voted to fund
Okay,
the
well, the
Ridiculympics.
25% that didn't are never getting a sandwich off me.
Well, clearly.
It's like your birthday, only there's no cake or presents.
It is actually like your birthday.
And there was cake and presents. What?
Yeah, but none of the listeners got any.
Oh yeah, that's
The
true.
jingles
It's
are
not
for the
their
listeners, not for us.
Right.
We've made your cake.
And presents.
Right.
Well,
Okay,
we did.
these jingles are making so much more sense now.
Yeah, yeah. They're not actually for you.
Oh.
We didn't write them like, "Hi, Catherine. It's the Geekly Chronicles."
Just
I
to
thought it
remind
was
you.
to keep reminding me what show we were doing.
Ah,
To be
right.
fair, that's what I
Maybe
used
maybe
it for.
Chris isn't the one we should vote about firing.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe we should just all leave. Get an
Yeah.
entirely new batch of people in for the next series.
It worked once before.
It did.
I'm
but-
sure we can do that again.
Rest assured, we will be back for Series 5 of the Geekly Chronicles.
Us, the actual 3 people
Yep,
here.
we will be. Yeah.
On the 30th of September.
I was about to look at the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30th of September. So that is what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
I think
like
it's.
that.
I think it
don't
might be
know.
5.
5 weeks. Yeah.
No idea.
It's about then. So we'll be taking a
Or
little
it
bit
might
of
be
time off.
6
We
or
get
7.
our little summer holiday from Geekly where we go off and think about all the lovely things we're going to give you for the next series. Obviously, we have the final forecast tonight. You put a pin in that feature. We've been running that for a couple of series now. So we'll have to think about what we're bringing you next. But please, over the break that we're off for, which I believe is 7 weeks.
It is.
We
We checked.
Well counted there, Chris. Tweet us, get in the chat room, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. We're here for you. We want to make this show awesome. So let us know what you like.
Indeed.
The Tumble Fumble always proves really popular, Catherine. So keep
Yeah,
on
why-
fumbling
coming
through
back.
Tumblr and telling us what's the best on the internet. But it has been an amazing series.
It has.
I have enjoyed. I mean, we've had so many fantastic guests on this series. You know, from Rachel talking to us today about Quidditch, and huge thank you again, Rachel, for coming on and doing that.
Yes.
Right through to Dr. Sue Black, who came on and talked all about women in tech. It was inspiring.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Lee Sullivan, one of my favourites from this series, who came on and
Oh, he
talked to
was
us
great.
about
Yeah. comic art.
books and working with William Shatner and
Yeah,
That was a
what
great
a story.
yeah, that's incredible. And even right back to the start of our series, Jordan, I thought was amazing, talking to us about money saving and
Coupons and things.
Yeah.
That was right up my alley.
yeah. And I've been following him on Twitter since then. Actually, there's loads of stuff he's done. Apparently, there were free smoothies today if you went to a particular coffee shop and quoted a particular thing, which was quite cool.
Oh, I'm a bit sad I missed that.
So yeah, I'm definitely better off having followed Jordan on Twitter.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just been amazing. What's your favourite bit of the series been, Chris?
Oh, how to narrow it down. I really enjoyed speaking to Danny Stack about Who Killed Nelson Nutmeg.
Yeah, an excellent
script writing in
film
general.
that is becoming more and more available now. So we'll be keep an eye on our Twitter, because as soon as that's available in the UK, we'll be tweeting that. Our US friends can already watch it. Such a good film.
Yeah, it was great to speak to Nora Reid on the last show about bots.
Yeah, I think that was one of my highlights.
Yeah.
All the creative things. It's almost an art form. The creative things you can do with these Twitter bots and
just kind of automated bots and things in general.
Yes. And a huge thank you to everyone else behind the scenes that has helped make the show what it is. Everyone who's pitched in with ideas, given us material, and helped us with the actual work of putting the show together. Would You Fund It has been a real favourite of mine this series. I think we've had some cool stuff there.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun to put together and come up with all these silly ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, and the material just writes itself half the time. You're right. Politics
really
has got
does.
very ridiculous recently, and there's been a lot we've been able to satirise this series. So really, the biggest thank you to all of the politicians out there for making our lives and our jobs so much easier on this show.
Absolutely.
But it is time to say goodbye.
It is.
It's not goodbye forever. You can, as we said before, tune in next week.
We're a little bit later than usual, 2 hours later.
9 p.m. UK time.
And that is because it is a more adult show.
Yes.
We're not going to be on the air for as long, but it will. All of the stuff that we don't put in the average series of the Geekly Chronicles, because it's a little bit too sweary for our regular time slot and our regular programming, we've decided we'll get it all out cathartically in one show. So that'll be next week. But other than that, keep an eye on our YouTube channel, where we'll be uploading exclusive content during the break, and we'll be back on the 30th of September. So
We will.
from me, Kez.
From me interrupting.
Let's try that one again, shall we? Yeah. From me, Kaz.
From me, Chris.
And from me, Catherine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you soon. You have been listening to the Geekly Chronicles, written and presented by Chris Chapman, Kes Guyan and Catherine Robinson.
It also featured narration by Hattie Hayridge and additional material from Pip Smither.
The Geekly Chronicles would like to thank Jordan Cox, James Wright, Lee Sullivan, Ben Coleman,
Dr. Sue Black, Danny Stack, Misty DeMeo, Nora Reid, Rachel Lilly,
Elaine O'Neill, Jake Hayhurst, Greg Nunny, Kaylee Gibbon and Ninji Varan.
The production assistant was Finn Dre, and the series producer was Kes Guyan.
The Geekly Chronicles is a Tiny Kettle production.
Don't take the blue pill.
Live long and prosper.
Wear sunscreen.
Fingers in your mouth.